Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to my journey beyond. I am sharing today something that was on my mind because I have been delving into a partnership that was presented to me while I was in a business meeting on the ship. So what I discovered was how important it is for us as leaders who have actually done this work to share our stories. And one of the things that I reflected on this week as we were moving through the motions of the partnership, moving through the motions to make sure that my partner had what he needed to get the work done, to be legitimized, to be all the things in a corporate ready status. So I reflected back to the time when I was going through this myself, and it wasn't the easiest thing to do, but I do remember what those processes look like. So I'm here to share with you today. What do you do in the meantime when you know that you have gone through adverse experiences, and maybe even in the workforce, or maybe in the workforce, maybe your economic stability is off a little bit because of the lack of funding, the lack of finances, the lack of employment wages. There are a myriad of reasons why we make the decision to leap from these places. But we don't do that without being strategic. And one of the most important steps that I made in the meantime was identifying, looking back over my history, looking back over the work, the jobs, my career experience, and looking back over my education and saying, hey, what of those things do I most enjoy about the experiences that I've had? I know I didn't like the wellness or the culture of the community, so that was a problem that I needed to work on, right? For others, I needed to show others what it's like to have well communities at work. But there were some other takeaways as I began to examine. Welcome coming into the room, South Africa. I see you. Thank you so much for being here. And so I began to look at my skill sets, my career experience, my credentials, my value system. And I said, what do I do with what I have? Right? So I began to look at my transferable skills. This is very, very important thing. First step. Before you take any leaps, there are processes that you must go through. So what does those processes look like for me on this journey beyond what I was feeling, the lack of funds? What was the journey like for me when I can't understand the language? So I think I need to put on my translator. So I'm sorry, I can't. I hope there's someone here who can ask the question in a different way. Thank you so much for being here, though. So thank you, South Africa. I see you in the house. We're doing a huge South Africa collab here in the U.S. So I'm really, really excited about that forward movement as well. So thank you for being present. So some of the takeaways after taking a careful look at my resume and my CV and my skills, and I said, what is it that I like about any of these jobs? What's the part that I would want to take? What's the part that I would want to do every day if someone paid me or not? What are those things that I could take away that I would enjoy doing? One of those was technology, because in every employment area, whether that was administration or whether that was secretarial, whether that was supervisory, all of them, I enjoyed the technical side of things. I was always able to add value to the position because I came from a high tech region in Philadelphia. When I moved to the South, they were behind a decade at least. So they were not even up to speed with data processing. So I enjoyed that side of teaching and workshopping and training on technology. Some other things that I really enjoy is studying social issues, right? One of the things before I took the leap, was I was completing my doctoral degree. I completed 4 degrees while I was, or 4 levels of education while I was there before I took the leap. So I decided that taking a look at those things, what can I do while I'm here, right? So I sought out the research department. I sought out, even though I was in a scheduling capacity, in customer service capacity within a level 1 trauma center, the thing I could seek out those things where I could add value. The important thing is, where do you add value? So I sought out and had a meeting with the research department there. It was very small, and they were actually working on training clinicians on how to utilize their bedside, how to publish their works, their experience, their evidence-based practice in a research way, right? That was like a phenomenal experience for me. So I was chosen to sit on the research board. So what do I take away from this place? Research, right? So these are things that you can begin to look at your resume, think about how are you applying and managing what you've been given to manage here on earth, because God has an assignment for all of us, right? And his only job for us when we go to our jobs is to manage the resources with the moral and intellectual and spiritual character of him. And so because that is the thing that we're supposed to do wherever we are, the work on the job requires his character, okay? So I ended up sitting on this research board, and it was amazing. We published several journals. I still have my copy. To God be the glory. And so you see, there was still a problem, because you got this level 1 trauma center, all this experience. And what we wanted to get out of that was, how do we help train clinicians to publish their work? Because they're bedside care, they're caretakers. They are naturally caretakers. And now we're asking them, how do we get the word out about this good work that our nurses and our staff, or clinicians, not just nurses, but clinical staff, are doing? So again, I help, in community with some other, researchers writers who were able to do the work. We met with nurses monthly, or the clinical staff monthly, y'all, because they are practitioners. And as practitioners, they're not used to all the writing side of things, right? So but we needed, because we were a research institution, we needed our clinicians to be sharing their experiences. This is giving me a whole nother level of understanding, by the way. So the social issue, the issue at hand was, how do we get trained? How do we influence or prepare our clinicians to publish the works, because we are institutional research, right? So that there we have it. So we resolved the problem by developing this committee of individuals who had the skills and talents to be able to provide the training and the workshops to be able to help practitioners to produce their bodies of work. Problem solved. So what I took away from that was that my love for technology, my love for studying social issues, my love for problem solving, and my love for design. So now, what did I do? Not just my love for design, but resources and activating community. So we had to activate a commitment for a community of those who had the skills to help the practitioners to produce this work. We had to activate community within the level 1 trauma center. So that's, again, activating community. Where could I add value to the place where I was serving in big business, right? Because I love building big business. Here's the thing. This is what it looks like when you are called to a community, to a place where the culture may not be okay, but if you are managing the resources, and this is powerful, if you are managing the resources and that God has given you, the talent that God has given you to manage the resources, then he will add the value to your life. And I never really looked at it from this perspective. And so this is speaking to me as well. So when we go into a workforce, a job, how are you going into the job? Are you going in to just do the job, or are you considering the myriad of ways that you can understand the business itself? Because I never went into any job without understanding their mission, their vision, and their values, and their strategic plan. Why? Because I want to be an asset. I want to be an asset to the big business. These are people who are hiring thousands and thousands and thousands of people within our communities. We have 3 of those here in our community: our college, university, and our level 1 trauma center and our school of medicine. So these big businesses run, they have to run, but they run, their bottom line depends on the people they hire into the culture to manage the resources. Who are you and how are you managing these resources? So alongside that building of big business, that was important to me. Understand the strategic plan. And if sometimes you are going to have a culture that's not conducive to who you are, you will be met with resistance sometime, but you still have, as long as you have the moral and intellectual and spiritual character of our King, the kingdom of our heaven, then he is going to make a way for you that maketh right. Regardless of what people, he said, didn't say that life would be without crisis, not here on this earth, right? Because we just live here, right? But understanding who we are, we know that he was an overcomer and we shall overcome as well. So I want to say that. So my work then became, how do I create a business built on the principles, the mission, vision, and values of my understanding of what I would like to do to help other people to create opportunities and not pass over opportunities regularly. What could I do while I'm here and before I take the leap? So I started making these major steps by first looking at my skills, looking at the transferable skills I wanted to take away, the big ones. And how do I teach this to other people? You teach people to stand in their stories, to use their lived experience to create opportunities that create influence well-being as the highest form of equity, because I was being mistreated only because they were saying, well, who does she think she is? Where did you come from? And I didn't ask you to do that. Okay, you will be met with those things, but the bottom line is how you respond to those things. So at first chance, I began to develop. I began to say, okay, well, it won't be long now, right? It won't be long now, because I know that this is not necessarily the place that I would remain. But in the meantime, what do I do to prepare for the leap? Because I knew for sure that this was not the place for me, based on my skill sets, based on my strength, which was the activating community, solving problems and connecting people to the proper resources, just as we did by developing this research committee, maximizing my wealth and excellence, maximizing, right? How do I add value? By understanding who you are. Can begin to find those places where you can not fit in, but add value to, right? Because we don't want to just be fitting in anymore. We want to place ourselves where our skill sets can best be used, right? Not changing who we are, but where we are. I heard that said, very profound message about it's not the who, it's the where, right? And when you can't change the where, if the where is if affecting you negatively, the who negatively, then you must change the where. It was a very profound message. And so in the meantime, you begin to develop community. You come in and you get up under some leadership that can help you. So I have coaches, I have mentors, I had destiny helpers. I had destiny helpers who helped me along the way, right? In community to utilize my skills. I build community. I build technical online community. God said, look at your dissertation. This is the work that you're going to be doing, because this is what you are passionate about. You love humans and you love to design. You love to study problems and you love to be the problem solver. But you're going to do that in a way that you're going to do that without walls, and you're going to do that without borders, because technology can take us beyond. Okay. So just wanted to come in and share that with you. I am Dr. Eve on a Journey Beyond, and I am a health and human service educator, and I do all of my work centering around the community wellness, economic stability, health, having what we need in healthcare, in education, in neighborhoods and built environments, and social support, most of all, making sure that you have access to education and social support that can support you from wherever you are. I'm Dr. Eve on a Journey Beyond. Have the most amazing day, and whatever you do, don't let anyone get in the way. Before I do that, make sure you click the link and join our community. Our community is there to help you grow, help you build, and help you to make the most out of your wealth and excellence. Again, this is Dr. Eve on the Journey Beyond. Peace and blessings.